Good afternoon, welcome to another exciting video in the Artful Coder series on clean architecture. Today we're going to be covering adding bits to existing solutions. In the previous videos we've built up the various layers of our clean architecture solution: application, domain, infrastructure. We did some unit testing, web API and cars UI. But today I want to add more use cases to complete the full CRUD operation. So the ones we've got so far: add car. If we go in here, it is effectively take a request of these parameters and add a car, providing we're valid. But what I want to do as well is I want to see if there's a way we can use the do not repeat yourself basically. So we're going to try and see if we can take this and we're going to see if we can have it as a common object across validation function, rather across our use cases. So let's get started. So what I think we need to do as an application layer is you could have it in common, or we could say, let's do it with common, and let's do add new folder, cars, and we're going to create a base entity. Add new item. Let's call this cars base handler. Just call that. And then what we need to do next is we need to have public. Okay, so yeah, got it. So next we need to create some more files down here. So let's do add class edit car.cs. Let's do add class delete car.cs, and we want new item class get car. Okay, we'll call it by .id. Okay, so then what we need to do is make a site, and then we need some interfaces. So that's our context in there. So let's add a new one, new folder, cars. Okay, and let's create a new, do we know, we don't need it yet. So we may have a cars interface in there, and this is going to, I'm going to change it and create a new folder. Let's have a look, hang on. Let's also add new folder, db context. Just to keep it tidy, I'm going to drag that into there. Okay, yes I do. Done. So we've got that there. So then the next thing we need to do is get our base class is going to need to have, oh, why is it not finding that? Oh, it didn't like doing that. Okay, let's just drag it back for a minute. We'll deal with that later. Save that. Let's just do what, let's look in there now. Okay, we've got some stuff to correct, so let's carry on back as we were. Yes, I do. Okay, so Visual Studio running some problems. Okay. Okay. Let's have a look. What's it done? Oh, it doesn't like that. Okay. Let's just close it down and reopen it. Visual Studio is playing about. Try it again and see what it does now. Okay, it might correct itself. Sometimes it does when you load it. Give it a second. Give it a second. It's all not liking that, is it? Ah, because we moved it back out. Do. That should correct itself. No, we've got it. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, but I know what's happened here. And this isn't DB context, it's rename text. Okay, sorry about that. So all we need to do next is say DB context. Save that. Now we want. Okay. Why is it not liking that still? Okay, just, yeah, okay, right. That's probably new stuff. That's probably wants something like resharpen. Apologies for that. So what we need to do is go back to add car, and we're going to extend from the base entity. So car's base handler. So let's just grab that, and we're going to go to our add car. And there is other ways you can do this. So okay, can't find that. So let's take that namespace up here, go back to our car and say using, there you go, sorted. So next part, we'll need to do this in here as well, because we completed the get cars, and we also need to join that in there. We'll just type it in again in case it's okay. And then what we want is we want to say, there you go. And like our add car, we're just going to borrow this. So it wants to go. So your inheritance goes before any interfaces you derive from. So let's code up some of these new files. So we've got exceptions here. We may want to expand on this. For cars, we've got missing input. That's all we've really got at the moment. But with the base entity, let's think of a way we can make this generic, or a way that we can have what we've got in here. Let's have a look in application. Do we have? We do. This is fantastic news. So what we're going to do is we want this function here. Let's copy that, but all it's going to pass in. So let's go to our base handler. There's other stuff we will need to do, but we'll just put this in here for now. And instead of add car request, it's going to use a DTO. That's data transform object. Okay, so nothing's changed. It's not referenced, but it will be. Because all we're going to say for here is that the make is required in any car. So we're going to change this to valid car input. And there's lots of other clever stuff we can do. So what we need to do is refactor our existing code. And the way we need to do this is we have to create on here var car DTO equals new DTO. And we're just going to do that. We're going to create an object here. We could put a wrapper function instead, but we'll just keep it simple from it. So make what we got in the car DTO. Car ID, we know how the car is, so make equals request make. Oh, would help if I didn't do this. Take that out there, that one's go down here. What we're going to do is we're then going to say, what else we got? Model, number of wheels and colour. Come down here and say model, number of wheels, colour, which no. So now what we're going to do is we're going to swap our function out, and we're then going to use the DTO as we've already got there. So we could create a function that does this in one line, it just keeps it tidy, which we may do. So let's have a look. So we've got that there now. So to use our function, our base, and just a couple of things we need to do, because we want to extend from that, but when this is created, we need to pass it back up there. Will we have any? No, we're not going to have any contexts at the moment. So what I mean by that is let's add it in just in case we do need it. So let's come down back down to car. I want to do that and paste this in here, and I want to say public cars base handler idea context. There you go. And then within our child class, we're going to call base. There you go. So it's, ooh, no, it's just not that, it's not that. Take that out. There you go. So what's going to happen now, if we want to use DB context in our base class, then we can do, because we're actually using the child class. This is a child class, and we can then start to swap out our input function. So now what we can do, you see, is we can take this, we'll re-change that DTO, but we'll go into our car, and we'll just do that, and we'll just take, let's take this out, car, no, not that one, excuse me, let's just take, hang on, that's it. Oh, and we need to make it public, because the derived class can't see it. Okay, protection level. Ah, yes. Does mean you have to do all of them. So just going to copy this up to get cars, paste that in there. That's going to work. So there's different ways you could do this. Yes, you could create a parent class to handle your validation, or you could inject a validator, which is another way to use pipelines. But I quite like this way because it's sharing of that code that you need it to have. So that's what object orientation is. Object oriented design is you might have a parent class like a vehicle, but then your child classes might be a lorry, a car, because you might have a trailer for a lorry, but you wouldn't necessarily have that type of thing, or you could have a trailer for a car or a motorbike. So it's a good way of using it, basically. So we don't want to do anything else and just say that it's the make that's required. Very simple. So add car, we've refactored a code, which means now we can take this out of here. And if we take this out, okay, there you go. And we might create a function. Let's do this. I think I want to do it while we're here. So let's go to, as it's only going to be used in here, let's create a private, and what is it? So DTO handle map request to DTO car request. And we're just going to do that. And we kind of want this here. Okay, so we're going to copy that into here. And we want to say, we could say, simple way you could do this, just say return that. Return not equals, but it's new. There you go, that's one way, shorthand way of doing it. And then we're just going to copy that up there. And we're just going to take all that out of there. Much tidier, much tidier. Less noise in our code. There you go. So we've just refactored the code there. We're doing a simple return. That's all it's going to do. Yes, you could set a variable car DTO, but this is a shorthand way of doing it. And we want to make sure that our new car inherits from the DTO. So I want to not inherit, but uses the DTO. Again, you can write a mapping function for this. And we might just do that in a base entity because we may need that later on. So we've got a model of car and that there. So let's just leave that there. So next thing we need to do is go into delete car. So delete, when you think about it, is going to effectively be passing an ID, delete the record, or delete from the context. So what we need is we need public records delete car request. And that is going to be, let me just recap on that. That's good, yeah, that's right. So we say I request, and it's going to return a type of bool. And we're going to do that, and it wants public int. There you go. And this is going to be a public class, which is going to be access from outside. Class, and again we're going to want our base entity in here. It's always good if you're going down the base entity route to keep it consistent. Common cars, which is that one. Let's just put the common cars in there for a minute, and it's delete car. So I need a lot more of this anyway. So we want to say cars base handler, and then it's I request handler. We're passing in our delete car request. There, we return a bool. Okay, so that's doing that. Okay, well, that's what's doing it. Okay, and then what we need to do is set that, go down here, and we're just going to grab some code out of one of the others. Nothing wrong with doing this. So we're just going to grab that, go into delete car, paste that in, that's the context, go back to add car, copy this and just basically rename it. So you retype it, there you go. So let's just and we're going to call this handler. Because we're putting our commands and our handlers, or our commands and all our handlers together, which you can separate them out. So what we need then is we need a method which is public async task bool handle, and this takes in delete car request, and we need a cancellation token of cancellation token, and we're going to save our deleted equals false, return deleted, and we'll say try catch exception. Okay, we'll just leave it there a second. We know there's blank catches, we're just going to So we're going to need a new exception because I want to keep this kind of separate. So what we're going to check first is, does the car exist in the context before trying to delete it? So let's go to exceptions, cars, let's do add class, and say, let's say problem deleting car does not exist section. And that is a type of, let's keep it, we need to expose that. And let's say exception, let's say public problem. There you go, sorted. And the last thing you need to do is, once you've done that, is go into your middleware. And that's doing our middleware. So let's have a look. So it's very basic. Let's just put in there status codes. Let's got it, status codes dot status for bad request into there. Yeah, so we need to put this in here. Like that's right. Then do that equals that and error occurred. Just keep it simple for now. So that's in our middleware. So go back to our delete car, which has disappeared out of view. So what we've got is we've got an ID. So the first thing we need to do is say, we say var existing car equals context, db context dot where x, that's not x equals x RID. There you go. So what we're going to say is, if existing car is null, then I'm going to escape that. I don't want these bits here for a second. Do that. Okay. Okay, so it's bugging me about this is. Okay, so if existing car is null, you want to say throw new white problem. Sorry, but a car with the ID of request ID. Up there, we'll put a space in there. Does not exist. There you go. And then what we do is we want to say, if we've got that file, we need to catch this as well. So we haven't put a logger in, so we'll just throw it basically back out. We're not going to log anything, so we'll just say, we'll do that and do cat. You can put loggers and other stuff in here, but it's just, and we'll just throw it, and we'll just throw it. There you go. So the next thing we need to do is we need to say, so we've got that, so we want to say, so in our context, we've got a reference to car, so we want to say db context cars.remove existing car, and we have to wait db context dot, and we want cancellation token. And then what I'm going to do is, the last thing I want to do is I want to say existing car, will do another read equals db context dot cars where x equals x dot car ID, and we want to say deleted in here equals existing car is null. So if that is null, then it's true. So that means we've deleted. So that is your delete car. There you go. So that is your delete car there. So we've just added a new CRUD operation. We do need to add it to our user case or our user case. Let's have a look. So let's go up here and let's go to our web API. We'll do one at a time, just so we keep it all together. Core service, and this is a map delete. So we want to create a function. Let's just borrow one of these. What does it use? And it's using as parameters. So just going to take this back. I'm going to say we'll paste it down here. We're just going to pass a ball back, and this is delete. And if we go up here, delete car, we're going to do that. That does everything there. Then we're just going to come up here. I'm trying up comments for speed, try and get as much of this as possible. And we have to pass in the ID as well. So we say delete car, and we want $ID. And why isn't it liking that? Why is it delete car task volume? Not delete. Delete car. Why can that, is it? Wow. You know why? Which one is it in? Oh! We haven't mapped the rest of this, which we said we would do. Let's just get that out of the way. Nope, I didn't mean to do that, just because it hovered over. So let's copy this. And the last one we need to, so that's map get. And this is map delete. And we call this. Okay, pattern. Let's say 8. Okay, there you go. So we'll just tell you what we're going to do while we're here. Let's just copy that. So we don't get any more. It's map put. Oh, this is map. Come into here, map put. Done. Okay, so let's go to car service. We now have delete car. So let's just do the same thing for other things as service. We've now got our extra methods in there, and if we run up our API, debug in there. Oh, errors, what didn't it like? It's not, it's DB context. Let's say dot that in there. Doesn't like it when you overtype it. Okay, that's because we moved our context. Okay, sorted. So let's try building that again. So what we should see this time is an API endpoint in our codes. Okay, so that's a Swagger. As you can see, we've got here So try it out. Let's say 32. Should get an exception back. What thinks about it? There you go. 32 does not exist. So we've got another endpoint in there. Okay, so let's just close that down. Let's stop the service there. Right, next we need to do edit car. So again, what is it? It's very similar to add. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this and we're going to go to edit. We're going to create a new record. So public record, edit car west. And this is by request first. And it's just going to pass back OSA full. And we're going to do that. So we're going to do public int car ID, and it knows already. That's fantastic. So you can initialize them there. And we're going to need to use the base one. So let's have a look. Let's copy that into here. And let's go up here. Common cars. I will make this a public class. It needs to be accessed from our web API. And let's just go back to add car. We can now we've got that. We can literally just do copy all of this. Then go to edit car, paste that in there, swap this around up here, down to there. And we just say full. And the other thing it needs to do is it needs to, we'll initialize a class. Let's just copy this down here. For essence of time, when my mouse wants to respond. And let's just come down here and say handler. We're just going to copy that over there, change it there. Just go to the function. So does it do a similar thing? Yes, it does. But there's got to be something else we need to check as well. And this is where I can get very clever to tie this together. So, edit is very similar to add apart from the ID. So, let's go up here and let's just copy this. Because what we want to do is say changes async will do that. That will map to there. Let's have a look. Let's see what we've got on there. Let's have a think about this one. Okay, yeah, so there's quite a few different ways of doing what we're trying to do effectively. So let's have a look. So we definitely need, do we have that? No, we don't. So this is going to feed in nicely. So what we're going to do first is we're going to copy this. We'll do this function first. It's going to complain down there. Just clean the mouse. Clean up. And we're going to call this. I'm going to say that. And the only other difference it's got car. There you go. We've got that now. You could use something else to do it, but we'll keep it simple. And let's go up here. So we're going to need a handle method. So let's just see if we can copy this and rejig it slightly for edit, because they're very similar functions, if you like, but they're not returning an int. It's a ball. And updated. It's false. So yeah, what we can do is Map request. Car request. Why is it not liking that? Oh, we're not going to do that there, so it's passing that in there. And because basically, me being an idiot, that's the thing when you do copy and paste. Okay, so this is where this comes into play now. This is where we can start to get clever with our validation. So if we go back into the car's base handler, we can now say, okay, we can now basically say that if this doesn't exist, throw an exception, pass it back. Effectively, because what we can say is we can say here, car ID equals request, and then what we can do is we'll get really clever. So we can say var existing car equals context car first or default, yes. And then as part of a validation, we can come down here and say if car ID is greater than 0, so we have a car, and existing car is null, then we want to throw a new exception. And it will only kick in where we have an existing car. It's a very clever way you can do this. So if we go up here, we want a new exception. So let's say, let's do add new class and say problem updating, editing car. I say updating because you are updating car does not exist exception.cs. Okay, and this is just going to inherit from exception fish public, and down here we say public problem gone, done. And again, remember to always put it in the middle where if you want to have a nice information on it. So let's just say that, copy that, can use the states codes, and we'll just copy this a second into there, copy that, done. That's in your middleware. So we've got that there, so we're then going to say throw new problem section. Sorry, with a car with ID does not with ID bus bus does not exist exception. Okay, does not exist. I don't call it exception, that's stupid. Okay, so there you go. So we've got that there. We've now got our complete validation, which yes, we could put the others in there. We're saying if that is a car's ID and it is null, then that's what we want to pass back. So let's go back to our edit car. So we know this is going to work, but car, okay, so it's slightly different here to what we've been doing before. So we've got a validation, but what we need to say is the existing car equals d underscore db context dot cars dot first or default. We should never be in this situation, not that, hang on. X equals x dot RID equals, got it. So we want to say here, we're going to do some mappings. This existing car dots make equals car DTO dots. You get the idea, existing car, and it will never be null, so don't worry about it because you're already handing it out this way. Existing car dots. Colour, no, I want number of wheels in here. Existing colour, and existing car dots. Rich, no. Okay, so we don't need that, we're not converting it to an object. And it's not, I think it's just update, let's have a look. Pass that in there, pass it in there. We're not adding, that's what we're not doing. So let's have a look, so dots. Update, there is no async, so we can't await it. Update is not done asynchronously. So how can we check if a car has actually been updated? Well, the way you could do is compare the DTO to existing car. So by this, what I mean is if we just say updated, for example, and we'll do this, or you can see what this returns. So that returns an int, so you could say off you go. So let's do it this way. So equals rdto dot make equals existing car dot make, and we want to say down here, and you get the idea, you just basically put that in there. No, shooting on. Busy in it, I'm not swearing, but I'm just going to get this right. And no, let's just end it. And DTO dot Regno, was Regno in here? Regno. There you go. Very simple, but the other thing we need to do now as well is if we go back to our base handler, it's also going to throw this potential as well. So we say catch. First it's go through, it doesn't true where it does in yes and no. Exception X, and we'll do login probably later. So throw that. There you go. So we've added a new endpoint. We just need to add it into a web API. And we're going to copy this one because it's the closest. The copy is down here. Let's say edit car. We'll go back up here, just test copying this across. Go down to here and do that. Done. And then what we want to do is we want to say map puts and say edit car, passing that through as parameters, so I don't think we need to worry about that. Let's do that. Okay, so we do need, let's just recap on that one. Okay, so ID. You don't need to because you're passing it across anyway. Let's leave that in for a minute. Shouldn't cause any problems, it just passes the object in. So we've got most of our CRUD written now. The last one to do is get car. And like that, so if we go to delete car, we're actually going to cheat. We're going to copy this, go into get car. Like this one, it just says that. and we can say get car request. But what we're going to pass back is car DTO. And we'll go to get car, paste that in there. Get cars is quite similar, so what we're going to do is just going to copy this, go into get car, that on there, and we're going to say public get car handler, and it's get car request, and it's not an enumerable of cars, it's just a single car there. And then if we go into get cars, we're just going to copy all of that. And so what we're going to do is that into there. Then we want the handle method, so just going to copy this. It's very similar, so we need to, yeah, there's a, oh look, we're already doing this. Yeah. So we need this function as well. We need this function. I'll show you this is why we need a base handler. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this. Because we're using it in two use cases, this fits in nicely. And we're just going to paste this down here. Do that, and we're going to say public type car, and that's in cars. That's the domain model, so copy that, go into a base, paste that in there. Brilliant, we've already got it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to finish this off. Car DTO dot number of wheels equals car number of wheels, car DTO dot color, and what are the other ones it's throwing in? So color with wheels, make model with wheels, color, red now. Okay, so the good thing is now, with that saved in here, we've got it in our base entity, so we don't need this up here. Yes, it's inheriting from a base entity, so we can get rid of that there. Let's do that. Done. There you go. So we're now reusing code in this class over here. So let's copy this in the essence of time, and we'll just refactor it to our get car. Just very similar. So we're going to come down here, do all of that handle, pass it in a get car request, and we're going to say we don't want a list or a task or a numeral, so just take that out. And we're just going to do car DPO. It's not a list, it's just a new car. So it returns something blank if it's not already set anyway. And then all we got to do is we could write another function here to map it back the other way. So this is the other way on. So what we can say is, as it's only going to be used by the edit at this stage. No, that's not right. Hang on, hang on. Okay, so. Okay, yeah, car DTO. So we'll call this car. And what we're going to say is we're going to say car. And what we want is first or default. And I'm going to say x equals x dot RID equals request dot ID. Consistency, you could call it car ID. And we kind of want some of this, but not all of it. So let's just have a look. So if is not null, then we'll just do escape, and we're just going to say car DTO equals, you ready for this? there you go, you just reuse the function to map single versus a multiple. The only thing you've done is flashback here. Yes, you could add validation, say that where it doesn't exist, which you might do, and if it is null and it throws an exception, let's do that. Let's do that. We're so close to getting this done. So let's add a new exception in here and say does not exist exception, and do CS. Now we want to say public again, public. Now we want to say exception and say public, and we say string message. We want to say base message. There you go. And always remember what we need to do is go into our middleware. Go to our middleware. Paste that down there. Copy this bit over here. That's what code is sometimes. Just copy that. Now we want error. Could call it validation error. We can call it whatever you want. We can put that in the exception. And we take that out because we don't want end to end to end. Okay. Right. So then all we want to say is we want to do back in our get bar. We want to say else row new car does. It's not picking it up. Just gonna copy that back to a get car. Sorry, but a car with the ID of request ID does not exist. There you go. So if it's not null, I'm going to map it back. And the last thing we need to do is we see say catch ex, and we'll just say throw that in there, throw that should be. And then the last thing we need to do is we need to go up to here, and we need to go to a web API car service. And what I would recommend is put the most granular one above it. We're going to want to say, yeah. So this is, we've got get cars, so let's just copy that as it's the closest, paste it above it, call it, we're not doing IEnumerable. Let's do that there and do get car. Go into get car, grab your request, which we're passing all the way through. Go up here, get car request, and then go up here and say that get dollar ID. Right, that should be, if we just run up our web API, that should be all of our CRUDs in place. Let's go and have a look. Got some build errors. Oh, why is it not finding that? Okay, we've got another build error. Okay, so that is in. Oh, okay, yes, got it. So that is. Let's fix these errors quickly. Cars dot application dot or dot what's in interfaces dot db context there. Okay, so oh, okay, got one error. Where is that error? Okay, yes, that was my fault there. So we say updated. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so here we go. So now look at this. We now have full CRUD in a web API. There may be bits you want to tweak, and what I'm going to do for the sake of time on this is so you're not tied in for 2 or 3 hours at a time. I think now we've got our web API there, this is a good point to end this particular video. We'll just do this quickly. We'll say get cars, try it out, execute. Just going to come back. There you go, and car ID, we're not mapping that in our function, so that's what we'll need to fix. But that effectively is our web 8 CRUD built in with our clean architecture solution. You then just need to enhance the UI to pick these extra codes up, which we'll do in a different video because I think this is a long enough video as it is. So again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've really enjoyed this video, and I'm hoping you're enjoying the series so far. And I really hope you're enjoying all of this as we go along, and we should, yeah, it's looking really good. So thank you again. The car DTO just needs that same line as that in. But yeah, thank you again for watching this, and I'm really pleased you have enjoyed it so far. Thank you very much.